crushed it. So, yeah, I believe we should do our due diligence and communicate about culture. Again, we've traveled the world. We've seen a lot of great coaches. We've seen some coaches that need more opportunity, and we've just seen some bad coaches. Speaking of bad coaches, Luke, I know this. You hold this.
Saying I'm a bad coach?
Speaking of bad coaches, Luke.
Tex.
I know this is something you hold near and dear to your heart, the topic of cheerleading.
Well, you did a great job this morning with spike ball. You tried really, really hard. But I just don't recall who won. Was it these two over here?
I carried that team.
Give me French fries.
Yep.
What are you fucking talking about?
Oh, you think it's about the serve?
So here's the reality, folks.
All right, Mutombo, just guarding the net. You got to move a little bit.
The reality
scoreboard
is what it Tex. We're on over 130 cities, 6 continents,
24 countries.
24 countries. We've had the opportunity to literally observe thousands of coaches in a mock coaching environment. And fucking, I can't tell you how many times I've heard good job when they were doing bad. It's not your responsibility. Am I coming in? All right, clear. It's not your responsibility it's not your responsibility to reward effort every single step of the way. It's your responsibility to ensure that the movement and every movement matters, right? So that starts in your onboarding course. So you need to have a way to provide adaptive and constructive feedback that is coaching, that isn't cheerleading, and know and delineate between the two. And I want you, this is your fucking homework, people. Record a coaching session in your onboarding class and count how many times you say, good job, looks great. And then ask yourself in the heart of hearts, with Santa Claus looking down on you with his naughty and nice list, if you're telling the fucking truth. And that's the difference. It's having the balls to sack up and say that wasn't a good job, but provide adaptive feedback. Now, you don't have to be a dick about it, unless, of course, that's what's going to work with that individual. I happen to prefer that method. But that is your responsibility. So that is the ultimate culture check. And that has to be a common theme and thread throughout your whole coaching ethos and pathos in your gym, the way your coaches run their sessions as well.
And we have a set definition for that, for you to constantly remind yourself, and that's a 3P model for our athletes. And I know that you've heard this before, the persistent pursuit of perfection. Do not pat them on the back and give them a good job if it was not what you're looking for in terms of movement. So provide constructive feedback. Be a coach. Give them actionable direction that they can. If it takes filming them, film them. All right. If you're not confident in your coach's eye, use the iPhone tools to show them. But we need to put them in a position after onboarding to be used to coaching, to value coaching, and eventually just start to coach up their weight room partners, whoever it is. So that's the persistent pursuit of perfection. Remind yourself that every single time. Now, when we take a look outside your program, a grandiose view, we're going to apply a 3P model for coaching. This begins with purpose. What is the purpose of this movement? What is the purpose of this training day? What is the purpose of onboarding? What's the purpose of your whole general population program? We need to establish these and have them ready to hand out. That's that value that Ben was talking about earlier, in which you can educate. It starts with why. It starts with your purpose for each component, each piece of the movement, of the program, of everything you want to accomplish in your gym. Then we get into practical. Is my movement selection practical? Do I have the equipment? Do I have the time? Do I have the resources to apply my purpose? If not, I'm going to stick with my purpose for selecting that movement. If it's violent hip extension, but, in my onboarding class, violent hip extension, but then my regular class is using all the barbells for Olympic lifting, I'm still going to maintain the purpose of violent hip extension. I'm just going to find different ways to use it. Could be heavy D balls. It could be jumps, violent hip extension jumps, So it's maintaining our purpose, but finding a practical way to do it within our gym environment. And most importantly, guys, is it prudent? Meaning, is it accomplishing what I set it out to do? If it is my onboarding class, Is my onboarding class, is it just ticking boxes? I coach this, coach this, coach this, or is it truly preparing your athletes for the demand of your general population class? Are you teaching them how to move versus you just coaching movements and getting through them all? Prudency goes a long way, and this finally leads us to our golden rule. This is for your onboarding class. This is for your personal training clients. This is for your general population class or your high-level athletes. Everyone you're working with, your golden rule, the Hippocratic Oath, and why they're coming to you: do no harm. And that long-term trainability, we see this play into it. Why? Because we are working with we want to have them healthy and moving well. So 10 years down the road, when they're playing with their kids or picking up the groceries, all of those general examples, they don't get hurt. Not just within your 60 minutes, not just within the 6 months that they're working with you. No, 6 years, 10 years, the rest of their life, they are moving well. And in 60 years, they can think back to the person that invested in teaching them how to move. And your teachings, not just ticking boxes in the effort, it was actually prudent. You actually were able to teach them how to move and move well. Then we added resistance, we added reps, we added time, we did all the stresses, and they were able to maintain the integrity of the movement that you taught them. That is empowerment. That is giving away how to move. That is coaching. That is our 3P model. Purpose, why? Practical, can I do it? And prudent, is it accomplishing what we set it out to do?
And what the Tex, as we put all this together, we're saying you have the responsibility to establish what we in Power Athlete call the base level of strength. And the journey that it takes to get through that is exactly what we've parroted to you today. It is loading the lift with abandon list. It is avoiding the limit. It is dosing appropriately the limit list. And it is avoiding what we're talking about at the bottom in the early phase of the life cycle of your client or your athlete. And when we say base level of strength, I know what you're thinking. I know what's in your head. It's like, oh, we get them double body weight back squat, 1.5 body. No, fuck that. Like, I'm not talking about just biological strength. I'm not talking about the structure or the nervous system. I'm talking about bio, psycho, and social. It's about preparing them to jump into any fucking gym when they're on the road, kick in the door, and be the baddest motherfucker around. That's the base level of strength. It's about throwing them in an advanced template when they're ready and they have the discipline to do what it takes to be successful in more advanced environment. That's the base level of strength. It's about, like Tex said, instilling these movement patterns, instilling the thought process, and preparing them with the structural and nervous system adaptations, everything, biopsychosocial, base level of strength, people. So that's what we're looking to accomplish here, and that starts on day one. And there is a best way to do it, and it's what we were talking about here today, right? So thank you for jumping on. Thanks for participating. And ladies and gentlemen, anything else to say?
Power Athlete Symposium.
Oh,
months away.
December 7th, 8th, and 9th. We have a 3-day speaker experience out here in Austin, Texas, in all three dimensionals. We are going to have a killer speaker lineup. If you're interested, events.powerathletehq.com. And if you want to learn more about warm-ups, we'll link something up with you. We have free course online for warm-ups. And if you're working on or wanting to understand the best way to establish base level of strength, unlocking athletic potential, that is what our Power Athlete methodology, our online education, our online curriculum is all about. So if this is something you're interested in, let us know. Shoot us an email, academy@powerathletehq.com. And we're going to come back at y'all with a little survey. Okay, we're going to shoot it to you. And if you can give us some feedback on that, we will make this video available for you to download. So without further ado, I guess thank you for your time, folks, and best of luck with your onboarding class.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.